Pick a number between 1 and 10. Do it now. Don't overthink it. Just pick one. Got it? Now, answer this. Why did you pick that number? Maybe you pick 7 because it's popular. Maybe 3 because it feels safe. Maybe 5 because it's in the middle. But here is the scary part. You didn't choose that number. The number appeared in your mind, and you just claimed it. You felt like the author of that thought, but you were actually just the observer. Neuroscience suggests that your brain makes decisions up to 7 seconds before you are consciously aware of them. That means by the time you thought, "I'll pick 7, the chemical reaction in your neurons had already sealed your fate. If you can't control the next thought that pops into your head, how can you possibly control your life? Welcome to the most dangerous idea in psychology, the illusion of free will. It feels real, doesn't it? I can raise my right hand. I can raise my left hand. I can choose to stop this video right now. But feeling free and being free are two very different things. Let's look at this through the lens of determinism. Determinism is the idea that every event has a cause. If you drop a ball, it falls. Cause and effect. This feeling of agency is arguably the most distinct feature of being human. It's the foundation of our legal system, our religions, and our pride. We hate the idea that we are just biological puppets. Your brain is made of physical matter, atoms, molecules, neurons. These particles obey the laws of physics. They don't get a hall pass just because they are inside your skull. So, if the state of the universe at time A dictates the state of the universe at time B, then your thoughts are just the inevitable result of the physics happening inside your head. To have true free will, you would have to be able to step outside the laws of physics, rewind time, and, under the exact same conditions, choose the salad instead of the burger. But you wouldn't. Because you are just the sum of your biology and your environment. You might say, that's just philosophy. Show me the science. Okay, let's talk about Benjamin Libet. In the 1980s, a researcher named Benjamin Libet hooked people up to an EEG machine. He asked them to flex their wrist whenever they felt like it. The catch? They had to watch a specialized clock and report the exact millisecond they decided to move. Here is what he found. The brain started building up the electrical potential to move the wrist, called the readiness potential, about 300 to 500 milliseconds before the subject consciously thought, "I'm going to move now." Let that sink in. The brain decided to move. Then half a second later, the conscious mind got the memo and said, "I did that." And it gets worse. More recent studies using fMRI scans, like those by John Dylan Haynes in 2008, can predict which button you'll press up to 7 to 10 seconds before you know you're going to press it. If a scientist with a scanner knows what you're going to do before you do, are you really the one driving the bus? Or are you just a passenger, convincing yourself that you're steering? Let's try a thought experiment. This is adapted from the philosopher Sam Harris. I want you to think of a movie, any movie. Do you have one? Maybe you thought of Star Wars, maybe The Godfather, maybe Barbie. Now, let's rewind. Why didn't you think of The Wizard of Oz? You know that movie. You've seen it. It's in your brain, but it didn't surface. Why? You didn't choose not to think of The Wizard of Oz. It just didn't show up. And the movie that did show up? You didn't pick that either. It was served to you by your subconscious. If you can't control what thoughts enter your conscious mind, and your actions are based on your thoughts, then you don't control your actions. Schopenhauer said it best, man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Then there is genetics. Charles Darwin showed us that traits evolve because they offer survival advantages. Intelligence, impulse control, risk tolerance, emotional regulation. These are not evenly distributed. Some people are born with nervous systems that learn quickly, adapt easily, and delay gratification. Others are not because they failed, but because they were never equipped. Can someone truly choose wisely without the biological capacity to do so? Or are we judging outcomes without acknowledging machinery? This is where the idea of free will begins to fracture. Because freedom assumes equality of capacity, and capacity is not equal. If choice was something mystical, something beyond chemistry, then altering chemistry shouldn't change behavior. And yet it does. Alcohol, antipsychotics, anesthetics. A molecule enters the bloodstream, and suddenly a person becomes someone else. More aggressive, more impulsive, less restrained. Where did their will go? And then there are the cases that make this impossible to ignore. A respected pediatrician, a loving family man, until a tumor grew. A mass of tissue pressing against the wrong region of the brain. And behavior changed, not gradually, radically. When the tumor was removed, the urges disappeared. If free will was sovereign, how could a scalpel restore morality? But determinism is not fatalism. Determinism does not say nothing matters. It says everything matters, just not in the way we were taught. Every event arises from causes, and causes can be understood, altered, and redirected. Understanding this does not make you passive, it makes you accurate. Look at prisons. According to UK data, over half of inmates have brain injuries. Does that make them monsters, or does it make them people shaped by forces they never controlled? This understanding changes something fundamental. It softens arrogance. It dissolves entitlement. It replaces judgment with humility. Because success stops feeling like proof of virtue and starts feeling like alignment of conditions, and failure stops feeling like sin and starts feeling like misfortune. Now, before you have an existential crisis, I have to be fair. Not everyone agrees with this hard determinism view. Enter the compatibilists. Thinkers like Daniel Dennett argue that free will is worth saving, even if biology dictates our choices. They define free will differently. To them, free will isn't about being a magical ghost in a machine that defies physics. It's about being free from external coercion. If no one is holding a gun to your head and you are acting according to your own desires, even if those desires are determined by biology, then you are free. It's a pragmatic definition. It allows us to keep our justice system. We punish criminals, not because they could have magically changed their physics, but to deter others and protect society. A broken machine that hurts people still needs to be taken off the street, even if it's not the machine's fault for being broken. So, why does this matter? Why spend 8 minutes trying to convince you that you're a biological robot? Because, paradoxically, losing your belief in free will can make you a better person. When you realize that the person who cut you off in traffic, or the criminal on the news, is the product of bad genes and bad environments, hatred turns into curiosity. Judgment turns into compassion. You realize that there, but for the grace of biology, go I. It also kills arrogance. You didn't build that. You were lucky enough to inherit a brain capable of discipline and focus. It creates a profound sense of humility. We may be puppets, but we are puppets that can see our strings. And maybe, just maybe, understanding how those strings work gives us a little bit of wiggle room. I want to know what you think. Did you choose to watch this video? Or did the YouTube algorithm and your dopamine receptors conspire to make you click? If you want to dive deeper into the dark corners of your own mind, check out this video on the psychology of evil next.